What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about what I make as a local truck driver. I am a dump truck driver. I'm home every day. I work the day shift, and my schedule is Saturday through Wednesday. So I do work weekends. So I get 25 bucks an hour, and then I get overtime after 40, and overtime is time and a half. So I usually work if I only work 5 days, I work about 60 hours a week. It's usually about 12-hour days. You do sometimes get the option to work a 6-day if they need it. If you do work that 6th day, you'll get your normal overtime pay, plus you'll get an extra $100 for every load that you do. So here at this job, we try to get in 3 loads every day. We take a load from Cleveland, Ohio, we take a load from Warren, Ohio, and we drive it up to Cleveland, Ohio, and drop it off. And we do 3 trips back and forth every day. So, at 25 bucks an hour for if I just did the 5 days, the first 40 hours of straight time would end up being $1,000, and then it's $37.50 for every hour after that. And so for that 20 hours, it'd be about 750 bucks. So for just 5 days, I can gross somewhere around $1,750 every week. If I do go ahead and work that 6th day, I'll get another 12 hours overtime, which comes out to be $450, something like that. I don't have a calculator on me, but 12 hours at $37.50, and then that extra $300 for doing 3 loads. And most of the time you do get in 3 loads. They won't have you work that 6th day and only do 1 load or 2 loads. The only way you won't get that 3rd load is if it's slow and you run out of time. You don't have enough time to run a 3rd load. But so usually that 6th day ends up being another $750, something like that. So if you work 6 days, you can make upwards of $2,500 gross. That happens every now and then. Maybe once or twice a month you can get that. But so if I were to work, I did this math earlier, if I were to work just 5 days a week for the whole year, it will come up to around $90,000 for the year. And then I did the math. If I were to do 2 6 days a month for the whole year, then that puts it up at upwards of $110,000, I believe. So, I mean, if you were able to work 6 days a week every week for the whole year, you can make upwards of $130,000. It's pretty crazy, but that's unrealistic. Like I said, you don't get that many 6 days. So it's pretty nice. I mean, my hours, I usually start at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, and like I said, I work about 12 hours a day, sometimes 13, sometimes only 11. Just depends on how fast or slow you can get loaded and unloaded. So like where I'm at now, there's 2 trucks ahead of me, so I gotta wait for them to unload first before I can unload. Sometimes I get here and I'm the only truck here, so I can just get in and get out quickly. So it all depends. It's just the loading times usually is what dictates how long you sit here and wait. But yeah, it's a really good paying job. It's better than anything I've ever done being on the road, over the road at all. If you're able to get a local job, That's usually what pays the most in the trucking industry is local, unless you're an owner operator and you're driving your own truck, then obviously you'll make more. But then you got all the expenses to deal with. So this is a very easy way to make a lot of money without any, headache. You don't have to deal with the truck maintenance. I mean, even if I break down or anything, I'm still getting paid $25 an hour or the overtime rate wherever I'm at in the week. There's also an option here that you can be on call. So how that works is you get dispatched the day before, usually in the afternoon, for what you're going to do the next day. If you're on call, basically, you could be called in up until about 6 a.m. in the morning. Or no, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess, is the cutoff time for the on-call. So if on Monday they send me a text to say you're on call for Tuesday, I could be called in at any time up until 1 p.m. on Tuesday. That's never happened as far as I know. I mean, I've only been here for 4 months, so it's not like I've really had a big chance for that to happen. But yeah, if you're on call, you get paid $250 automatically. Now that's equivalent to 10 hours of straight time. So the downside to that is if you work 60 hours if you work 4 days and you get 48 hours, and then you get that on-call day, that's another 10 or 12, 10. That 10 won't be overtime, no matter where it is in the week. If it's at the end of your week or the beginning of your week, it won't be overtime. It'll be straight time. So you'll have, 50 hours of straight time, but only 8 hours of overtime, instead of having, 40 hours of straight time and 18 hours of overtime. So it kind of, if you get an on call, you're usually losing about $125 for the week. But you get to be home all day, because chances are you're not going to come in. But if you do get called in on an on-call day, you still get that $250 and any, your regular pay for the day. So if you work all 5 days, but you were on call on the 5th day and came in and worked, you'll still get, your 60 hours or whatever, plus that 10 hours of on-call pay. So if you are on call and you do work, you get, an extra $250 for the day. Also, if you're on call, it doesn't mess up your 6th day. So if you were on call on Tuesday and your 6th day was on Friday, you still get your overtime pay and your 3 loads, $100 each pay. That doesn't change, which is a good incentive. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice here. The insurance is pretty good, pays pretty good. The work is super easy. You don't have to, there's nothing you really have to do by hand. You back up under a hopper, the sensor turns it on. It starts pouring out. You load it how you're supposed to load it. The sensor shuts it off. And then you pull over to the tarp rack. You check and see if you have any goose eggs at the top. If you do, you just take this steel rake and you kind of brush it until it's level. That's all the physical labor you really have to do is that rake, which ain't a lot. Another thing too is if you have to take some of it off. Oh, I gotta move up here 1 second. Move up a little bit to the stop sign. I will be next to unload after this guy in front of me gets done. But Anyway, so yeah, if you have to dump some, say you're overweight when you try to leave, you can't be over 80,000 pounds. So if you try to leave and you're over 80,000, you got to dump some of it off. The only physical labor in that is you have to get out and open up the back chute, and some will start falling off. You might have to take a metal rod and kind of shove in there to get the flow to go again. But you never really work up a sweat at all here. I mean, ever. Unless like you had a huge goose egg on top and you got to spend 10 minutes raking that down. That's about the only time you're going to really like have intensive labor. But I mean, once you unload, it's all done by a lever down here. You just pull the lever and it goes up and dumps on its own. So, I mean, getting paid this much for literally just driving the truck is pretty insane. I'm very grateful to have this job. I'm going to do my best to keep this job. I've been known to switch jobs a lot. I mean, in 8 years, I've probably had nine or 10 jobs. Just trying to find a really good fitting place. But so far, in 4 months, this place has been excellent. I've had no issues at all. I was trained very well. I caught on very well. Or I caught on very fast. I do very well here. I don't really have any issues. But yeah, this place is pretty nice. Yeah, 8 years in trucking, and it took 8 years to find the place that I'm probably gonna stay at for a long time. It's only 10 minutes from my house. I'm close to the house. If anything happens at home, I'm only ever an hour away, and that's when I come to Cleveland. But they're really good about letting you get off if you need a day off or something for anything. At the end of the year, they give you an extra $1,000 if you didn't break anything, or no accidents, anything like that, no out of service tickets. I'm driving, all of our trucks are 2024 or 2025 Peterbilts. I mean, yeah, they're automatics, but I mean, it is what it is. I would very much prefer a manual transmission. But it is what it is. One thing I probably hate the most about this place is the driver-facing camera. I wish that it wasn't watching me the entire time. I know they say that it only comes on when you activate it, but I can't really believe that. But it is what it is. Do what you're supposed to do behind the wheel, and you shouldn't have a problem. So don't text and drive, obviously. Don't be taking your hands off the wheels, do stupid shit like eating food or something. Like, I mean, obviously you can eat your food while you're driving, but be safe about it. Like, don't be stupid. Don't, like, if you're driving, like, go down like this to try to reach or something with no hands on the wheel. Like, that's insane. This thing has caught me yawning before, which is pretty crazy. I've yawned and it would make a noise and it would say take a rest break or something like that. They really monitor your speed too, which I guess it's good, but like sometimes it's like, come on, they don't let you do more than 4 miles an hour over the limit. So a lot of times you can't even keep up with traffic. But it is what it is. Again, you're getting paid hourly, so who cares how slow or how fast you're going? I mean, if you really think about it, the slower you go, the more money you make. But I try to just get the work done and go home. I don't want to be here 13, 14 hours a day. 12 hours is already long enough. I don't want to just take my time and do whatever. So There's some real helpful people here. It's really good whenever drivers help out other drivers. I once pulled up over here in Cleveland, and I was gonna get out to go undo my salt locks in the back, and I looked back there, and the driver already did it for me, and I was blown away. Like, can't believe somebody was that nice to do that for me. But that's what you get at this place. Pretty nice people. But yeah, here at the Cleveland Cliffs, it's they're pretty strict here too. They have a lot of train tracks and stuff that go by, and they're really, really strict on making sure you don't cross those tracks when the lights are on. And your speed too. They really want you to keep it at the speed limit it's supposed to be at. But I guess some people have been fired for going over the tracks when the lights are on. So, and it's not that they got fired because of that. It's because Cleveland Cliffs will ban you from their property if you do something like that. So, and this is really all we do is the Cleveland Cliffs run. And if you get banned from here, you can't do anything. There's nothing else to do. So obviously you're gonna get fired at that point because you're not gonna have anything to do. So, we haul furnace coke, which is basically just coal that's been heated up for 24 hours in a blast furnace. But we haul 3 loads of furnace coke here to Cleveland every day. It's pretty neat. It's smoking the whole time that you're driving out here. The load's just smoking out the top. I used to, before I even started working here, I've seen these trucks go by because they're close to my house, and I always wonder, like, what are they hauling that's in there that's smoking like that? And I never knew until I started working here. I thought it was pretty cool to finally get that answer. But we haul furnace coke. Sometimes we dump it in this pit up here called the dump station. Sometimes we dump it on the ground. It's pretty sketchy the first couple times you do it, to see that trailer go all the way up and hope that it doesn't lean to one side or the other. It's kind of scary, kind of nerve-wracking, but now it's just like, get it up and get going. Yeah, I mean, one other bad thing about this place, like I said, is the waiting times. The longest I ever waited for a load was about 3.5 hours, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, I didn't do my 3rd load that day because it takes roughly 3.5 hours to do 1 load. So, you only get 14 hours in a day. So, if it takes you, 3.5 hours is if everything goes good. If you can show up at the coke plant, get loaded immediately, and leave, and then get here to the dump station and unload and leave. But a lot of times, like now, it's been almost 20-25 minutes that I've been sitting here waiting to unload. But if you're sitting overall for 5 hours or more, you can't do that 3rd load because you're just not going to have enough time. So it's a very different type of job other than what I've done before, because I've pulled dry vans and reefers and tankers and flatbeds. This one is pretty unique. It's not just, opening doors and backing up and shutting doors and leaving. When you're loading, you have to be really on top of it because you have to do it. You have to load it basically yourself. It comes out of the hopper, but once it fills up, you got to move up to the right spot to fill up, four mounds total, and make sure you're not overweight, because they won't let you leave the coke plant if you're heavier than 80,000 pounds. It won't print out these tickets for you, and you got to print out these tickets to get signed and turn in. But Yeah, they want you to leave out of there at least at 78,500 pounds. And then, like I said, you can't leave if you're over 80,000. So, it takes some skill to get that down right. There's been probably 3 times where I've actually got it to be at exactly 80,000 pounds. Those are probably my proudest moments here. There's times where I loaded and I was 86, 87,000 pounds, and that's a lot to take off. When you go, like if you're overweight and you go to dump it off, you dump it into a pit, but you can only put probably about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds worth of coke in that pit before you have to go turn on the conveyor belt, empty it all out, and then put more into it. So, you got to watch it, because that stuff comes out at about 1,000 pounds a second. So it only takes about 45 to 48 seconds to load your trailer. Which may seem like a long time, but when you're under there doing it, it's going out pretty fast. But I love the challenge of it. The fact that I can try to get better every time I do it. There'll be some times where I'll load it and it'll be 73,000. I'll be 7,000 off, and I'm like, oh, so I have to go all the way back and top off and put 7,000 more pounds on it, which, that could be a little bit of a struggle too. If you've loaded the front all the way up, you can't start at the front. You got to start at the back and try to somehow fit 7,000 pounds back there without going over. But it's pretty fun. It keeps your mind challenged, that's for sure. And then, like now it's winter time, there's snow everywhere. You got to make sure that you're driving safely, because when this truck and trailer is empty, it's only about 31,000 pounds, so you don't have much weight for traction. But and then whenever you're loaded, like I said, you're close to 80,000 pounds, so you can't really stop very fast whenever weather conditions are like this. But I'm just rambling, but I need to go. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'm gonna try to put out a video every day. Try to, they say YouTube's pushing out small creators right now, so there's this thing going around, a 30-day challenge. They're saying you can be monetized in 30 days. So if you upload every day for 30 days, you'll be monetized. But we'll see. I'm at 5 subscribers right now. I think 10 hours of watch time. I need 4,000 hours of watch time. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.